The following days were quieter, but Ethan knew the calm was temporary. The station continued its routines, but he and Lyra had formed a new rhythm together. Their nightly visits had become a series of shared discoveries, explorations of alien technology, scientific discussion, and the ongoing cleansing rituals that maintained Lyra's health. Yet more than that, they had formed a bond of trust and mutual respect. Ethan noticed how Lyra's glow had become steadier, brighter, almost as if she were drawing energy from his presence. She had grown comfortable in the quarters, moving with confidence instead of the cautious wariness she had shown on her first night. At the same time, he felt more capable, more aware of the vast universe around him and the role humanity could play within it. One evening, the station's comm system activated with a signal from the planetary research team. A newly discovered anomaly in Xylaris's northern hemisphere required immediate attention. Ethan read the data and realized it was a phenomenon that could not be explained by current human science alone. Lyra approached, her glow intensifying as she examined the readings. "This is unusual," she said softly. "I have never seen this type of energy pattern. It could be dangerous, but it could also be a unique opportunity for study. We must act carefully." Ethan nodded. "We'll need to combine human problem-solving with your knowledge. Together we have a better chance of understanding it and preventing harm." They prepared for the journey, gathering equipment and plotting a safe course to the anomaly. The station's automated systems provided guidance, but Ethan relied on both his experience and Lyra's insights to make adjustments for the unpredictable environment of Xylaris. As they traveled, Ethan marveled at her ability to navigate the alien terrain with grace and precision. She moved as if the landscape were an extension of her own body, understanding its dangers and opportunities instinctively. When they arrived at the anomaly, it was unlike anything Ethan had imagined. A swirling vortex of light and energy pulsed above a crystalline forest, radiating patterns that seemed to defy physics. Lyra's eyes widened with a mix of wonder and caution. "This is powerful energy," she said. "It is not naturally occurring. Someone has created this." Ethan studied the readings, analyzing the energy flux and the potential impact on the surrounding ecosystem. He realized that a wrong move could destabilize the vortex, causing a chain reaction that might threaten both the forest and the station. Lyra stood beside him, offering guidance and insight, explaining the subtle ways Xylaris's energy fields interacted with biological life. They worked together for hours, combining human logic and alien intuition. Ethan suggested adjustments to the containment devices, while Lyra applied her knowledge of energy flows to stabilize the anomaly. The work required patience, focus, and cooperation, and through it they strengthened their understanding of each other's capabilities. Finally, the readings stabilized. The vortex slowed, its energy patterns becoming predictable and safe. Ethan allowed himself a brief smile. "We did it," he said. Lyra turned to him, her eyes reflecting a mixture of relief and admiration. "Yes," she said softly. "Together, you have proven once again the strength of humanity, not just in intellect or skill, but in perseverance, creativity, and courage. You are remarkable." Ethan felt a warmth spread through him, not from pride alone, but from the realization that their partnership had accomplished something extraordinary. It was a reminder that humans, though still a young species in the galaxy, possessed qualities that could stand alongside the most advanced civilizations. As they returned to the station, Lyra remained close to Ethan, sharing more stories about her travels and discoveries. She spoke of planets where life thrived in extreme conditions, of civilizations that had long since vanished, and of lessons learned from countless encounters with alien species. Ethan listened attentively, adding his own knowledge of human innovation, perseverance, and adaptability. Back at the station, they reflected on the events of the past weeks. Lyra had come initially seeking help, but the experience had become a journey of mutual discovery. She had learned to trust a human completely, and Ethan had witnessed the potential of humanity through her eyes. Together they had navigated danger, solved complex problems, and explored the mysteries of an alien world. "You have changed the way I see humans," Lyra admitted quietly one night, as they sat together in the soft glow of the quarters. "I once thought your species was limited, bound by instinct and emotion, but you have shown me a combination of intelligence, courage, and heart that is rare in the galaxy. You have surpassed my expectations." Ethan looked at her, moved by the sincerity in her voice. "And you've shown me that there is more to the universe than I could ever imagine," he replied. "Your knowledge, your perspective, your trust, it's opened doors I didn't even know existed. I've learned as much from you as you have from me." Lyra's glow seemed to brighten at his words. "Then our journey has been successful," she said. "Not just because we survived the dangers or solved the problems, but because we have learned from one another. That is the greatest achievement of all." In the following days, Ethan continued his station duties, but he no longer saw them as mundane tasks. Each repair, each observation, each calculation was infused with a new sense of purpose. Humanity's potential was not measured solely by technology, numbers, or power, but by the courage, ingenuity, and compassion of individuals willing to face the unknown and act with intelligence and heart. Lyra's presence remained a constant inspiration. She began to assist with other research projects, her knowledge transforming Ethan's approach to problem-solving. Together, they conducted experiments, analyzed data, and explored new sectors of Xylaris, uncovering phenomena that had previously been overlooked. Each success reinforced the value of collaboration between human and alien, highlighting the strengths of both species. One evening, after a particularly productive day, Lyra turned to Ethan with a thoughtful expression. "You have proven that humans are capable of more than I ever expected," she said. "Your actions, your decisions, and your willingness to trust and adapt, these are qualities that can shape the future of your species. I am proud to have witnessed them firsthand." Ethan felt a surge of emotion. It was not just pride, but a deep sense of purpose and responsibility. Humanity had potential beyond what he had imagined, and his experiences with Lyra had shown him that even one individual could make a difference. "Thank you, Lyra," he said softly. "Your trust and guidance have meant more than I can express. I've learned so much from you, and I hope I can continue to live up to the potential you see in humans." Lyra's glow shifted to a soft, warm tone, almost like a smile. "You already have," she said. "And together, we will continue to explore, to learn, and to grow. Humanity has a place in the galaxy, and your actions have proven that your species is ready for the challenges ahead." The station was quiet once more, but the bond between Ethan and Lyra was stronger than ever. They had faced danger, solved complex problems, and shared knowledge across species barriers. More than that, they had discovered a connection built on trust, respect, and admiration. Ethan realized that this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, full of wonders and dangers, but humans were capable of rising to the occasion. Courage, intelligence, empathy, and ingenuity were traits that could shape not only their survival but their future in the galaxy. Lyra had seen it firsthand, and Ethan had come to understand it deeply. In the quiet hours of the night, as Lyra rested and the station hummed around him, Ethan reflected on the journey. He had met an extraordinary being, faced dangers unimaginable, and discovered the true potential of humanity. The lessons he had learned, the bond he had formed, and the experiences they had shared would guide him for the rest of his life. And somewhere in the galaxy, on a distant, glowing world, a remarkable alien woman had come to recognize the extraordinary qualities of one human, and in doing so, had glimpsed the promise of an entire species. Ethan felt a sense of fulfillment unlike anything he had known. Humanity was not perfect, nor was it the most technologically advanced species in the galaxy. But it possessed something equally powerful: courage, creativity, empathy, and the ability to rise to challenges with heart and mind united. That truth, he realized, was the essence of being human, and it had earned him a place alongside Lyra in a universe full of infinite possibilities. As dawn approached, casting soft light over the station, Ethan allowed himself to rest, knowing that the journey was far from over. But he also knew this: humans, when guided by courage, intellect, and compassion, could meet any challenge and thrive among the stars. And in that knowledge he found hope, purpose, and a sense of wonder that would carry him forward wherever the universe might lead. Ethan Cole wiped the sweat from his brow and glanced at the flickering console in the corner of the mining station. The asteroid field outside glimmered like a sea of broken glass under the distant light of a dying sun. For months he had been working tirelessly, repairing mining drones that were older than some of the colonies themselves. Every day brought new challenges: malfunctions, system overloads, rogue asteroids, and the occasional sabotage from competing mining crews. Yet through all of it, Ethan had kept going, driven by a quiet determination and the hope that his hard work would be noticed. One morning, as he was finishing his third coffee of the shift, a notification blinked on his comm panel. The alien council of the sector was summoning him. The council was a group of beings from different species, known across the stars for their wisdom, influence, and strict sense of justice. Being called by them was rare, almost unheard of for a human, especially one working on a remote mining station. Ethan paused, unsure what to expect. The last time a human had been summoned, it had been for a minor disciplinary matter involving a shipment of alien alloys. He hoped this call was different. He made his way to the council chambers aboard the orbital platform. The elevator hummed as it rose, and Ethan could feel the gravity of the moment pressing on him. Humans were often underestimated among the stars, regarded as fragile and impulsive. Ethan had heard the whispers. Humans lacked discipline, their lifespans were short, their technology primitive compared to other species. Yet here he was, a human, being summoned personally by the council. As the doors opened, he stepped into a vast chamber bathed in soft golden light. Around him, council members of various alien species observed silently, their forms alien and awe-inspiring. Some were tall and crystalline, refracting the light in dazzling patterns. Others had multiple limbs and eyes, moving with precise and fluid motions. Each member regarded Ethan with a mixture of curiosity and expectation. At the center of the chamber stood a platform, and upon it was something that made Ethan freeze in disbelief. A figure stood silently, tall and elegant, her presence commanding yet calm. She had pale, almost translucent skin that shimmered under the light. Her eyes glowed a soft red, and long, sharp fangs peeked from her lips. Her hair fell like dark liquid down her back. This was no ordinary being. Ethan had heard legends of her kind, vampire-like aliens with intelligence and strength far beyond most species. And now, one of them was standing before him. The council's voice echoed in the chamber, smooth and formal. Ethan Cole, your efforts in maintaining the mining operations and protecting the colonies have not gone unnoticed. The council has decided to reward you. Ethan swallowed, trying to keep his voice steady. Thank you, sir. Council members. I'm honored, but I assumed the reward would be something practical, maybe new tools or technology. A council member with crystalline wings and many eyes tilted their head. Your reward is a living gift, one that has been prepared for a human of exceptional merit. She is Lyra, of the vampire species. She has been pledged to serve as your companion, guide, and advisor. Her loyalty is not given lightly. It must be earned. Ethan blinked. I don't understand. You're giving me her? Lyra stepped forward gracefully, her eyes locking onto Ethan's. There was no fear in her gaze, only curiosity and calm assessment. I am not a tool human, she said, her voice melodic but firm. I am a being of thought and will. I am pledged to you, but I am not your servant. You must earn my trust just as I will learn to understand your humanity. Ethan felt his pulse quicken. He had expected a gift, something material, something simple. Not an alien vampire woman capable of strength and intellect beyond comprehension. He felt a strange mixture of awe and fear, but also a spark of curiosity. How could he, a human, interact with someone so powerful? The council nodded approvingly. You have 3 days to prepare for your journey. She will accompany you to the human colony ship, where your partnership will begin. Fail to establish cooperation, and the consequences will be yours alone. Ethan spent the next day in a daze, preparing his quarters aboard the colony ship for Lyra's arrival. He checked the life support systems, installed reinforced panels in case of her strength, and stocked the kitchen with food, unsure if she even ate the same way as humans. He pondered the council's words. Partnership, trust, cooperation. He had been trained for many things, but this was a challenge unlike any other. When the day arrived, Lyra stepped aboard the ship. Ethan greeted her cautiously, unsure how to act. She moved with grace, every motion deliberate and precise. Her eyes studied him, and for a moment he felt as if she were reading his thoughts. We will begin with understanding, Lyra said softly. Your humans are curious. Your species relies on adaptability and ingenuity. I will observe, and you will teach me what it means to live among your kind. Ethan nodded. And I'll do my best to understand you. I don't know where to start, but I'm willing to try. Days passed as they adjusted to one another. Lyra explored the ship, learning its systems quickly, often faster than Ethan himself. She asked questions about human behavior, customs, and technology. Ethan demonstrated how mining drones worked, how to repair equipment under pressure, and even how humans solved problems with intuition and creativity rather than pure logic. One evening, as they watched a gas giant rise over the horizon of a nearby planet, Ethan spoke quietly. "I never imagined a gift could be like this. I thought it would be something I could hold, not someone I had to understand." Lyra's eyes softened slightly. Understanding is the first step to respect. A gift that challenges you is far more valuable than one that serves without question. You will find that our partnership will shape more than just this ship. It may change how others see your species. Ethan was still learning to control his own awe. The council had spoken of the rarity of humans who could earn the trust of an alien vampire. Yet here he was, learning alongside one. He began to see the advantages his humanity offered: ingenuity, adaptability, empathy, qualities Lyra acknowledged quietly. And she in turn offered knowledge, strength, and perspectives beyond his comprehension. On the third day, a small challenge arose. A rogue asteroid had strayed into the colony ship's path, threatening to breach the hull. Ethan acted quickly, activating the ship's thrusters and piloting drones to divert the asteroid. Lyra moved with lightning speed, reinforcing critical sections and guiding him with precision. Together they averted disaster, their combined skills forming a synergy neither had anticipated. Afterward, Lyra looked at Ethan with a faint smile. "You have courage, human. Not the reckless kind, but the kind that carries responsibility. That is rare among your species." Ethan laughed, though it was nervous. "I guess I just do what needs to be done." Her gaze lingered. "And that is why we can succeed together. You possess qualities that your people underestimate, qualities that may one day save more than just a ship." That night, Ethan lay awake in his quarters, thinking about the events of the past few days. The council's gift had turned out to be far more than he had imagined. It was a challenge, a partnership, and perhaps a chance to prove that humans could rise above expectations in ways even alien civilizations could not foresee. Lyra, in her own chamber, observed the stars through a transparent panel in the hull. For centuries she had been pledged, moved, and commanded by others of her species, yet she had never encountered a human whose mind intrigued her so. He was impulsive at times, yet clever, fragile in some ways, but resilient in ways she had not anticipated. And for the first time she felt curiosity and something that might grow into respect, perhaps even trust. Their journey was only beginning. The reward Ethan had expected, a simple gift, was far beyond that. It was a partnership, untested and unpredictable, between a human and an alien vampire, one that could challenge the expectations of both species and change their understanding of what it meant to be alive among the stars. As the colony ship drifted silently through the void, Ethan and Lyra sat in the observation deck, staring at the distant galaxies. They were companions now, forced by circumstance and choice to understand each other. The council's words echoed in Ethan's mind. Her loyalty must be earned. He realized then that this was not about a gift, a reward, or recognition. It was about forging something that neither humans nor vampires had truly experienced, a partnership built on trust, courage, and respect. The stars outside shimmered, indifferent yet full of promise. Ethan took a deep breath and turned to Lyra. "I don't know what the future holds," he said, "but I want to try. Whatever comes, we face it together." Lyra tilted her head, her eyes reflecting the distant starlight. "So be it, human. Together, we will see what your kind can accomplish, and perhaps what my kind can learn from you." The first chapter of their journey had begun, and neither knew where it would lead. But one thing was certain: nothing about this reward would ever be simple. The days on the Xylaris research station passed quietly, almost monotonously. Yet for Ethan, the quiet had begun to carry a new energy. Every task he completed felt different, touched by the knowledge that someone extraordinary had entered his life. Lyra had returned that night just as she had the night before, and each visit brought with it new lessons and challenges. He had learned about her physiology, her species' culture, and their unique approach to survival and exploration, yet there was much more to uncover. Lyra moved carefully through the room, her glowing form casting shifting patterns across the walls. Ethan noticed how the ambient light seemed to play with her skin, enhancing the shimmering blues and silvers. She did not speak immediately, instead letting her gaze linger on him with quiet intensity. The small, almost imperceptible movements of her body reflected a creature both elegant and cautious, one accustomed to observing more than being observed. "Good evening," Ethan said softly, careful not to break the fragile atmosphere of trust. "I have prepared everything for you. Are you ready?" Lyra nodded slowly. "I am ready. Tonight I wish to learn more about humans," she said. "You have already shown me much, but I want to see your species not just through words but through actions, through thought and behavior." Ethan felt a rush of responsibility. He understood that this was more than a simple exchange of knowledge. It was a test of trust, of character. Humans had a reputation across the galaxy as curious and determined. But Lyra's presence made him realize that the subtleties of human behavior, the choices made in small, quiet moments, were perhaps even more important than the grand gestures. He guided her to the hygiene chamber as before, preparing the equipment with care. The ritual cleansing had become more than a simple task. It was now an intricate process that demanded his full attention and patience. As Ethan worked, Lyra spoke softly, sharing details of her latest mission on Xylaris. She had been exploring a newly discovered biome in the northern regions of the planet, one that was rich with flora and fauna, but also filled with dangers. "The northern forests are beautiful but unpredictable," she explained, her voice calm but tinged with caution. "There are creatures that hunt with incredible precision. Some are harmless, but others are not. I narrowly escaped an encounter yesterday. That is why I needed to return here quickly." Ethan listened closely, fascinated by her words. The thought of alien creatures moving with calculated efficiency across a foreign world both thrilled and alarmed him. He realized that Lyra's life was full of risks that he could not easily imagine, and yet she carried herself with confidence and grace, a testament to her training and resilience. As he completed the cleansing, Ethan noticed subtle signs of tension in her posture. She seemed unusually alert, as if expecting some danger to appear at any moment. "Are you afraid of something?" he asked gently, his voice carrying genuine concern. Lyra's large eyes met his. "Fear is natural," she admitted, "but it does not control me. I have learned to observe and anticipate, yet even the most careful planning cannot eliminate all threats. That is why I trust you. You provide a sense of safety I cannot find elsewhere on this station." Ethan's chest tightened. Her words were not just gratitude. They carried an acknowledgement of his courage, his reliability, and his humanity. He realized that this trust was a rare gift, and he vowed silently to honor it. "I will protect you as best I can," he said. "Even if I do not fully understand the dangers, I will do everything in my power to keep you safe." Lyra's form shifted slightly, a subtle gesture that Ethan interpreted as a nod of approval. "That is why I returned to you. I observe not only your actions, but your decisions, your thought processes. Humans are capable of remarkable ingenuity, and I wish to see it firsthand. You have already shown adaptability, quick thinking, and compassion, qualities few species possess simultaneously." They spoke for hours, the conversation flowing seamlessly between technical explanations and personal reflections. Ethan shared his understanding of human problem-solving, improvisation, and survival strategies. He described the challenges of maintaining life support on the station, the constant need for vigilance, and the unpredictable nature of space. Lyra absorbed every word, her silver eyes reflecting a mixture of fascination and admiration. As the night deepened, Ethan realized that he was learning as much from her as she was from him. Her insights into alien biology, survival strategies, and interstellar exploration were extraordinary. She had encountered countless species, many of which were far more technologically advanced than humans, yet she continued to return to him, seeking not just help but understanding. This recognition of humanity's potential left Ethan both humbled and inspired. Over the next few nights, Lyra's visits became routine, though still secretive. The station crew was unaware of her presence, and Ethan had to navigate the challenges of keeping her hidden. He devised clever ways to allow her to enter and leave without detection, using maintenance shafts and temporary energy cloaks from his engineering supplies. Each visit required precision, stealth, and ingenuity, qualities Ethan found himself honing with every passing day. During these clandestine encounters, Ethan and Lyra began to experiment with ways to expand their knowledge. They studied the station's environmental data together, comparing it to her home planet's conditions. Ethan learned how alien systems operated, how life on Alarion adapted to extreme environments, and how different survival strategies could be applied to Xylaris. Lyra, in turn, observed human problem-solving, noting how his species adapted to unexpected challenges with creativity and courage. One night, as Ethan adjusted the cleansing equipment, Lyra paused and looked at him intently. "You have a remarkable mind," she said. "Your species can take limited resources and create solutions I would not have expected. This is why I return. Humans are resilient, and their ingenuity is a force not easily measured by technology alone." Ethan felt a surge of pride mixed with humility. He had always thought of humans as resourceful, but hearing it acknowledged by someone as advanced as Lyra made him see his own species differently. It was not arrogance, but recognition of potential, a validation of the quiet, persistent courage that humans displayed daily in ways that often went unnoticed. As the days continued, Ethan noticed subtle changes in Lyra as well. Her initial wariness had lessened, replaced by a sense of calm when she was near him. She began to share more personal stories, memories of her training the first time she had left Alarion and the creatures she had encountered on distant planets. These stories were filled with both wonder and danger, and Ethan listened with rapt attention. Each tale revealed not only her experiences, but also the qualities her species valued: intelligence, adaptability, and courage. One night, a particularly tense moment occurred. While Ethan and Lyra were discussing her exploration of Xylaris' northern forests, the station's alarm system suddenly blared. A small containment breach had occurred in a nearby research module, releasing a cloud of toxic gas. The automated system struggled to contain it, and the ventilation shafts began to carry the gas toward their location. Ethan acted immediately. He grabbed protective gear and improvised a seal for the chamber, guiding Lyra behind him. She moved with surprising speed and precision, using her knowledge of alien biology to minimize exposure to the gas. Together they navigated the hallways, bypassing locked doors and malfunctioning systems, relying on both human ingenuity and alien instinct. When they reached a safe section of the station, Lyra looked at him with wide eyes. "You acted decisively," she said, her voice steady despite the tension. "Humans have a courage I have observed in few other species. You combine thought with action, intelligence with instinct. This is rare." Ethan nodded, catching his breath. "I did what I had to do," he replied. "But I couldn't have done it without you. Your knowledge of biology and environmental hazards saved us both." Lyra's expression softened, a subtle smile forming. "And that is why I return," she said quietly. "Not only for the cleansing ritual, but for the understanding you provide. You show humanity at its best, and I wish to see more." After the incident, Ethan spent hours repairing damaged systems and ensuring that the station's safety protocols were fully restored. Lyra assisted, offering guidance and insights that he could not have anticipated. The collaboration strengthened their bond, demonstrating how two beings from entirely different worlds could work together seamlessly when trust and respect were present. As the night ended, Ethan reflected on the events. He realized that these encounters with Lyra were shaping him in ways he had never expected. Humanity's true strength, he understood, was not just in technology or numbers, but in empathy, creativity, and the ability to rise to challenges that demanded both courage and intellect. Lyra's presence had illuminated these qualities, showing him that humans were capable of remarkable feats when guided by heart and mind alike. Lyra settled in a safe corner of the quarters, her form dimming slightly as she prepared to rest. Ethan watched her carefully, ensuring her comfort. The bond they shared had grown stronger, not just through the cleansing rituals, but through shared experience, trust, and mutual admiration. As dawn approached, Ethan allowed himself a brief rest, reflecting on the lessons he had learned. The station had been quiet for days, the routine hum of machinery providing a sense of normalcy. Ethan had grown accustomed to Lyra's nightly visits, and their conversations had become a mix of scientific inquiry, cultural exchange, and careful observation. Yet beneath the calm, Ethan sensed that Xylaris still held hidden dangers. The planet's strange atmosphere and unpredictable terrain had already caused problems for Lyra, and the research station, though advanced, could not guarantee complete safety. One evening, while Ethan was conducting routine maintenance on the environmental control systems, a sudden alert flashed on his console. A toxic gas leak had begun in one of the lower decks. The station's automated systems were attempting to contain it, but the readings indicated rapid spread, and the air circulation suggested it could soon reach multiple sectors, including the area where Lyra would likely enter. Ethan's heart raced. He immediately initiated the emergency lockdown protocols, sealing bulkheads and activating ventilation overrides to prevent the gas from spreading further. The alarms blared throughout the station, a harsh reminder of the danger that now threatened everyone aboard. Lyra appeared in his quarters moments later, her glowing form shimmering against the flashing red lights of the emergency alert. She had sensed the disturbance and had come to assist, her movements precise and fluid. "The gas is toxic to humans as well as my species," she said quickly. "We must act immediately," Ethan nodded. "We will. Follow my lead." He grabbed protective suits from the storage compartment and quickly helped Lyra into a specially adapted suit. The design accommodated her alien physiology, sealing her body while allowing full mobility. Ethan then secured his own suit and activated the portable air filtration system he had improvised for such emergencies. Together, they descended into the lower decks, moving cautiously through corridors partially filled with a faint yellow haze. Ethan relied on both his training and the lessons Lyra had taught him about alien environments. Lyra, in turn, guided him using her knowledge of Xylaris's unique atmospheric hazards. Their coordination was seamless, a combination of human ingenuity and alien instinct. As they navigated the station, Ethan noticed damage caused by the leak, loose panels, scorched surfaces, and minor fires ignited by electrical faults. He moved quickly to stabilize them, improvising temporary repairs with available materials. Lyra assisted, her hands capable of subtle adjustments that complemented his work. They reached the central environmental hub, the source of the leak. A large containment unit had ruptured, releasing the toxic gas into the ventilation system. Ethan analyzed the readings, calculating the necessary adjustments to reverse the flow and neutralize the concentration. The task required precision and quick thinking. Any miscalculation could allow the gas to reach populated areas, endangering both humans and Lyra. Lyra observed silently, then spoke in a calm, commanding tone. "Shut down the secondary vent. Divert all airflow to the neutralization filter. I will stabilize the containment unit manually. Follow my guidance." Ethan nodded, executing the instructions with steady hands. He was impressed by her confidence and composure under pressure. Humans often relied on instinct and improvisation, but Lyra combined observation with precise action, a skill honed over years of interstellar exploration. Lyra approached the containment unit, her glowing hands moving over the panels as she manipulated the alien interface. Sparks flew, and a faint hiss of escaping gas threatened to overwhelm them, but she worked with determination and control. Ethan adjusted valves and conduits, ensuring the neutralization process progressed smoothly. Minutes felt like hours, each second heavy with tension. The station's emergency lighting flickered as systems struggled to maintain stability. Ethan could feel his muscles straining from the exertion, his mind focused entirely on the task at hand. Beside him, Lyra remained composed, her presence a steadying influence. Finally, the readings began to stabilize. The gas concentration decreased and the automated filters regained control. Ethan allowed himself a brief exhale, checking Lyra's status. She was unharmed, though her glow had dimmed slightly from the exertion. He reached out, touching her shoulder gently through the protective suit. "You did it," he said, voice filled with relief. "We did it." Lyra turned her head, her eyes reflecting genuine admiration. "No, human," she said softly. "We worked together. Your actions, your quick thinking, and your courage allowed this success. Humans possess a resilience I had underestimated. You are extraordinary." Ethan felt a mix of pride and humility. He had faced dangerous situations before, but never had he worked so closely with someone from another world under such high stakes. Lyra's words resonated deeply, reinforcing the idea that humanity's strength was not only in technology or physical ability, but in courage, intelligence, and the capacity to act decisively in critical moments. As they made their way back to the upper decks, Ethan observed the aftermath of the crisis. Station personnel were beginning to emerge from their safe areas, checking systems and ensuring everyone was accounted for. Ethan realized that Lyra had not only saved herself, but had contributed to the safety of the entire station. His admiration for her grew, tempered by respect for the lessons she had shared. That night, after the emergency had passed and the station was once again calm, Ethan and Lyra sat together in his quarters. The cleansing ritual resumed, but it was no longer a simple act of care. It had become a moment of reflection. They discussed the events of the evening, analyzing what had happened and how they had worked together to overcome the danger. "You have a remarkable mind," Lyra said again, her voice calm but earnest. "Not only do you act with courage, but you think ahead, anticipate problems, and adapt quickly. That is the hallmark of true strength. Many species rely solely on instinct or power, but humans combine intelligence with heart." Ethan smiled faintly. "I just reacted the way I had to. But I've learned a lot from you too. Your guidance, your knowledge of this environment, and your precision, it's incredible. I've never met anyone like you before." Lyra's gaze softened, and for a moment the glow of her body seemed warmer, more vibrant. "And that is why I continue to return," she said. "To observe, to learn, and to teach, but also to understand. Humans have qualities that cannot be measured in technology or strength alone. You have shown me that even in the most dangerous situations, compassion and ingenuity can prevail." The conversation drifted to quieter topics as the night deepened. Ethan found himself asking about Lyra's childhood, her early training, and her first experiences exploring other worlds. She shared memories of floating crystal cities, oceans that shimmered with bioluminescent life, and creatures that communicated through light and energy. Ethan was captivated, imagining the beauty and complexity of her home planet, a world unlike any he had ever seen. Lyra, in turn, asked him about Earth, the human experience, and the challenges of life in space. Ethan described the oceans, the mountains, the cities, and the struggles of humans to adapt and survive. He spoke of human ingenuity, resilience, and the ability to rise above adversity. Lyra listened intently, her expression reflecting fascination and admiration. As the night wore on, Ethan realized that their bond had grown deeper than he could have imagined. It was built on trust, mutual respect, and shared experiences. The dangers of the station had forced them to rely on each other, and in doing so, they had discovered the true value of partnership across species. Eventually, Lyra prepared to rest, her body dimming slightly as she settled in a secure area of the quarters. Ethan watched over her, reflecting on the lessons of the night. He understood that humanity's true power lay not only in skill or technology, but in the ability to act with intelligence, empathy, and courage when faced with the unknown. As he prepared to sleep himself, Ethan felt a sense of purpose and anticipation. The universe was vast and full of challenges, yet he now knew that humans could rise to meet them in ways that even the most advanced alien species could recognize and respect. The bond he shared with Lyra was just beginning, and the nights ahead promised more discoveries, more lessons, and more moments that would test the limits of both human and alien potential. In the quiet of the research station, Ethan allowed himself to rest, confident that whatever dangers lay ahead, humanity had the strength, courage, and ingenuity to face them. And somewhere in the galaxy, a glowing alien woman had seen firsthand the extraordinary qualities of a single human, and perhaps, in turn, glimpsed the future potential of an entire species. The next day, Ethan awoke to a soft, pulsating glow filling his chamber. The alien structure seemed more alive than ever, and the air vibrated with a quiet energy. Though exhausted from the previous trials, he felt a strange exhilaration. He had endured challenges that tested his courage, intelligence, and moral judgment, and he had chosen to stay, embracing the unknown and accepting the responsibilities that came with it. The Vampire Queen had noticed, and he sensed that the next stage of his journey would not only test him further, but also reveal the depths of the connection forming between them. When he stepped into the corridor, the Queen was already waiting. Her presence was commanding yet less intimidating than before, as if she recognized his resilience and accepted him as a worthy companion. Her eyes glowed softly in the dim light, and she motioned for him to follow. Ethan moved beside her, careful to match her fluid pace. He noticed subtle movements in her expression, almost imperceptible changes that hinted at curiosity and perhaps even admiration. They entered a vast chamber open to the sky above. Bioluminescent plants hung from floating platforms, casting vibrant patterns of light across the space. Pools of liquid energy reflected the glow, rippling gently as if aware of their presence. Ethan marveled at the beauty of the chamber, but he remained focused. He understood that in this world, beauty and danger were intertwined, and he could not afford distraction. The queen stopped near one of the glowing pools and gestured for him to observe. "These pools contain the essence of my people," she explained. "Through them we connect with one another, sharing strength, knowledge, and emotion. Few outsiders can perceive the depth of this bond. It is not merely physical, it is spiritual, mental, and emotional. To understand my people, you must learn to sense what lies beyond the surface." Ethan knelt beside the pool, studying the rippling patterns. As he watched, images began to form. Memories of the queen's ancestors, visions of battles fought and won, rituals of energy and connection, and moments of quiet reflection within her people. Each vision carried weight, showing not only the strength of her species but also the sacrifices and responsibilities that came with it. He realized that understanding her world required more than intellect. It required empathy, patience, and an openness to perspectives beyond his own. The queen spoke softly, her voice carrying through the chamber like a gentle wind. "Many believe that power alone defines strength. They are wrong. True strength lies in the ability to protect, to understand, and to endure. You have shown courage in your trials, but now you must learn the depth of responsibility that comes with power." Ethan listened intently, feeling a sense of reverence. He realized that the queen was offering him not only knowledge but also trust. By sharing these visions, she allowed him a glimpse into the essence of her people and the burdens she carried. This trust was rare, and he felt a growing sense of duty to honor it. Hours passed as they moved through the chamber, exploring the pools and connecting with the energy within them. Ethan began to sense subtle patterns, the rhythm of her people's lives and the balance required to maintain harmony. He saw that their abilities to sense life and emotions were not merely tools of survival, but instruments of understanding, guiding them in leadership and conflict resolution. As they walked, the queen spoke of her own experiences, moments of doubt, isolation, and the weight of leadership. She revealed the loneliness that came with being chosen as their ruler, the challenge of making decisions that affected countless lives, and the constant vigilance required to protect her people. Ethan felt empathy stir within him, understanding for the first time that the queen's strength was matched by her wisdom and sacrifice. At one point, a minor disturbance rippled through the chamber. A small, glowing creature had wandered into the pool area, its energy interfering with the patterns of the visions. Ethan reacted quickly, guiding the creature back to a safe area without disrupting the flow of energy. The queen watched silently, her expression softening. "Your attentiveness and care do not go unnoticed," she said. "Empathy is a rare quality among humans, yet you possess it in abundance. This is significant." The rest of the day was filled with similar lessons. Ethan observed the intricacies of the queen's people, learning how they communicated, how they coordinated energy, and how they maintained balance in their society. Each observation was a lesson in patience, understanding, and perception. He began to grasp the subtle ways in which strength and compassion intertwined within her species, shaping their actions and decisions. By the time evening approached, Ethan and the queen reached a high platform overlooking the glowing city below. Towers of crystal rose gracefully into the sky, their surfaces shimmering with energy. The life of the city moved in coordinated patterns, guided by intuition and the collective understanding of her people. Ethan felt a profound sense of awe, realizing that this civilization was not merely advanced, it was harmonious, connected in ways beyond human comprehension. The queen stepped beside him, her gaze fixed on the city. "You have learned much today," she said softly. "But knowledge alone is not enough. Understanding requires connection, trust, and the willingness to act with integrity. Tomorrow you will face a challenge that will test not only your perception, but your loyalty and courage in real time. It will reveal the true measure of your character." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He understood that the trials ahead were no longer theoretical exercises. They were living tests, designed to reveal how he would respond under pressure, with lives and trust at stake. He felt a mixture of anticipation and determination, ready to face whatever the queen had planned. That night, as he rested in his chamber, Ethan reflected on the events of the day. He thought about the empathy he had shown, the care he had taken with the minor disturbances, and the lessons he had learned about perception and understanding. He realized that his journey was not only about survival or proving himself. It was about becoming someone capable of bridging the gap between human and alien, of understanding perspectives beyond his own, and of acting with courage and integrity when it mattered most. The next morning, Ethan was awakened by the soft glow of the chamber and the familiar presence of the Queen. She gestured for him to follow, leading him through corridors that seemed even more alive than before. Energy pulsed along the walls and floor, reacting subtly to their movements. It was as if the entire structure acknowledged Ethan's progress, recognizing his ability to adapt and learn. They entered a chamber filled with floating platforms suspended above a deep, glowing abyss. Energy streams arched across the space, forming patterns that shifted unpredictably. In the center of the chamber stood a group of alien warriors, each observing him silently. Their presence was formidable, yet Ethan felt no fear. He had faced challenges before, and he trusted in his abilities, his judgment, and the lessons he had learned from the Queen. "You will demonstrate not only skill but judgment," the Queen said. "These warriors will challenge you, testing your ability to act with integrity and wisdom. Observe carefully, adapt quickly, and choose your actions with care. The consequences of failure are significant, but success will reveal the true measure of your character." The warriors moved forward, their movements precise and coordinated. Ethan observed their patterns, noting weaknesses, strengths, and potential strategies. He realized that direct confrontation would not be the wisest approach. Instead, he needed to act with intelligence, patience, and awareness. He timed his movements carefully, anticipating the warriors' actions and using their momentum to his advantage. At one point, a warrior lunged toward him and Ethan sidestepped, using a narrow platform to evade. The warrior adjusted instantly, pursuing him with remarkable speed. Ethan leapt across the abyss, landing on a stable platform, and continued to move strategically, avoiding unnecessary conflict while demonstrating agility, awareness, and decisiveness. As the challenge progressed, Ethan encountered situations that required not only skill, but ethical decision-making. A minor creature was caught in the midst of the challenge, threatened by the movements of the warriors. Ethan hesitated for only a moment before acting, rescuing the creature without compromising his own safety or the integrity of the trial. The Queen observed silently, her expression reflecting approval. "Compassion in the midst of danger," she murmured. "You continue to show qualities rare among humans." Hours passed as the trial unfolded, testing Ethan's abilities in complex and unpredictable ways. He navigated platforms, solved patterns, and made choices that balanced risk, ethics, and strategy. By the end, he had demonstrated not only skill but judgment, compassion, and resilience. The warriors stepped back, acknowledging his competence, while the Queen's gaze lingered on him with a mixture of curiosity and approval. "You have faced the challenge with skill, courage, and integrity," the Queen said softly. "Few outsiders could endure what you have accomplished. Your understanding of my people, your empathy, and your willingness to act with wisdom are qualities that set you apart. You are rare, human. The connection you are forming with this world is unlike anything I have witnessed in centuries."